actually hurt.
That was a knife.
Listen, ow! You're awakening. Hello there, you're awakening wonders. Thanks for joining us today for Stay Free with Russell Brand. What an extraordinary show we got. Firstly, I'm pretty excited. We're going to show our full interview with Candace Owens on Monday, but we got loads of stuff that I want to show. Like, we were filming from the minute that we arrived at Candace's house. And just to let you know, and let me know where you stand on this in the comments and chat, I'm doing a Turning Point event on December the 18th, and I'm listening to everything Candace is saying. Egyptian planes, this, and Israeli government, that, and French Foreign Legion. I've not thought about the French Foreign Legion. I thought that was from the 1940s, like Bilko, and stuff like. You don't even know what Bilko is. You don't even know your own heritage, do you?
No, I know.
You don't know your own heritage.
The Green Dragoons.
Listen, I don't want to talk about the Revolutionary War, but what I will say is, I bet you what Candace Owens will discover next is that the Revolutionary War was won by the British, actually, and the British installed, like, secret guys, George Washington. I mean, that's the most English name I've ever heard. Good day, George Washington, at your service, sir. We'll find out. I cannot tell a lie. British. Love it. Hey, so, well, let's just look at the trailer. Who cut this trailer? It's very good. Was it Massey? Was it Juice?
No, he was Jewish.
Was it Spirit?
It sounds like Juice, but it's Jewish.
A Jewish person.
It's our favorite Jew.
Isaac.
This
has been cut by a Jew. Now, make of that what you will. One of my favorite bits of the conversation is where she starts saying, Candace Owens, my sister in Christ, and I love her. I think she's brave and I think she's bold. She says that there are Jewish sects that are in charge of the world. I mean, it got pretty heavy. She's not saying it's all Jewish people. But anyway, let's have a look at the trailer. I don't know why I want to carry it. I mean, I love Jesus. That's it. Everything else I'm not sure about. I love Jesus. I support West Ham. One thing I can tell you is I still love Morrissey. And that has endured a lot. That has endured Morrissey himself potentially even abandoning me. You know, like I was a big Morrissey fan, then I met Morrissey, then I became friends with Morrissey, but I could always tell it was a bit of an arm's length friendship, you know? But he said, when I told him I was marrying Katy Perry, he went, oh, married, third finger, left hand. Like that. Isn't that beautifully what a poetic way to talk? And then when I told him I was getting divorced, he sent me an email with their subject, third finger, left brand. What bastard!
You were like a sellout because you married a pop star? Did you think he felt that?
No, I think he kind of liked it because Morrissey loved pop culture. Like, he really loved pop culture. He was he's very much one of this, like, you know, like a lot of people that are genii that don't feel they got their due. You know, like David Icke's that. That's why David Icke is like, he was early in. Like, everyone's a lizard, and now we're new people like us. Some people are lizards, maybe. Like, he's like, you Johnny come latelys. You turn up late. I've been telling it before you. He's like, it's very Dr. Dre. You forgot about Ike. Nowadays, everybody want to talk like they've got something to say, but nothing comes out when they move their lips, just a bunch of conspiracy theories. Everybody, you forgot about Ike. Oh, I've got to think of is a word that rhymes with Ike. Like, pike, psych. Mike, Dyke, but that's a hate word. No hate words. Anyway, let's have a look at this trailer for the Candace Owens interview that you can see coming up on our next show on Monday. If I could just press the right button, which is what I call my penis. Let's go. This was cut by a Jew, so how anti-Semitic can it be?
What does that signal to the population? That it's okay for France to be involved in assassination attempts? I'm actually just addressing what everybody's feeling and seeing.
Yeah. Like Samson kept getting told, listen, we'll give you this energy, chill.
I'm like, are you guys, like, you're my friends, right? You know what I mean? Like you're not gonna, if this happens and there's questions, you're gonna go hard, right?
It doesn't make sense even, it doesn't make sense in its own terms.
Was Charlie Kirk's life real is what I think I cried the hardest about.
So you were like super close with Charlie Kirk. I don't know who would want Charlie Kirk dead.
There are donors that were pressuring Charlie. Those donors are still there. I certainly didn't suspect Turning Point USA would be, as I believe, involved in a cover-up. And we can talk about what the motives are of that.
What you're saying is essentially that people from Turning Point either knew about or are otherwise involved in the murder of Charlie Kirk. Well, there you go. Pretty gripping. By the way, I'm appearing at Turning Point's event on December the 18th, 2025. If you want to see me there, I'm going to start doing a lot of live events these days. Oh, man, things are changing. The glory of the Lord is upon us. Let me know in the comments and chat what you think about this potential Venezuelan war. We're going to discuss that for a while. Then I'm going to show you some footage, some of the stuff we shot when we first arrived with Candice. Does it look... Massey, you cut it. Is it good, mate?
Yeah, I really enjoyed the conversations you had beforehand, and the stuff you did after in the kitchen was cool, so I liked it.
You know, I'm essentially, in spite of all my various incarnations, part of me remains at heart an entertainer and a performer. So if you give me a compliment, you better fucking give me a specific thing you liked, otherwise it's too general. So what bit did you like? What bit? And if you've got any sense at all, you'll use your memory and not only say the bit where Candice Owens said this, because that's ultimately not what I want. What I want is some version of you are very clever and you're great and you're probably going to make a huge religious impact on global politics over the next 5 years as a kind of modern day St. Paul. Now, if you can't find a way of saying that on the basis of this interview that I've done with Candice Owens, I don't know what's wrong with
Just hang it up now. Just quit.
Just
right
quit.
now.
You've got no business. We've got Jews ready to go, Massey, who I believe you've spent a lot of time in Iran. We've got Jews. We've got Isaac. We've got Miami Jews ready to go, ain't we? So where's my compliment? Which bit? No, actually, in all seriousness, which bit? It doesn't have to have me in it. I'm not that insecure. I'm with God now.
Mate, I like how candid you are with Candice, and I like your retelling of the story of when you guys first met and the little dance you did around the room. I thought that was pretty cool. I also liked the bit on the plane where you spotted what you thought was Jesus' shadow outside the plane, but I mean, would Jesus have a shadow? He's dead, isn't he? So who knows?
Oi!
Oh,
that was blasphemous. He's alive. He's alive now, and it was Jake that spotted that. Jake's been Christian a long time. What do you think about that?
Thank you for giving me that credit. I did spot it.
Yeah, and also it looked like a shadow of a plane, and that would make sense because we were in a plane and there was a light source on the other side at about a 60-degree angle, which would mean that it would be projected onto those clouds. But maybe all reality is a projection that's on a kind of plasmic screen, and that material reality is only temporary, and that the source of the divine light has projected all of us. So, you know, we get there in the end.
It also looked like a lightning bolt a little bit. Like Reborn.
Well, a certain little thing. Have a look over here at my new guest today, Reborn's beautiful products. Go Caleb, cut 2. Oh, look at that. It was all tallow. Look at the stars. Look how they shine for you. See that beef tallow? You want to cook with that? See them other little bits of tallow standing on top of the creatine powder and the colostrum? Smother yourself in that stuff from top to tail. Come back to me if you don't mind. We'll be talking about foreskins later. Yay or nay? Foreskins. And if you've got one, do you use tallow on it? It was all tallow. You can if you want to. It's your foreskin. Do what you want with it. Genital mutilation. Is that where we went wrong? Genital mutilation. By the way, I believe Israel has the right to a homeland, and I love Jews. Now, let's get on with this stuff about Venezuela, shall we? Because Gareth's gone to a lot of trouble to create it, so let's find out. It sounds like... Look, in the old days, when I was much more of the left, I used to think, oh, well, what America does is they spot where there are necessary resources and then they start wars with them. And there's resources in Venezuela. But now I'm not really of the left. I'm transcendent of those categories because I'm a servant and follower of Jesus Christ, just a bog standard Christian. Let's have a look what they're saying on the normal news, whether or not, because I guess what's interesting about it is, you know, they've been blowing up those drug cargo boats and apparently they went back for a second sweep of kills, and that might potentially be a war crime. Let me know if that's what you want from Pete Hegseth. If you're watching us on Locals, or my beloved friends on Locals, Jude, Syke, Sensitive Heart, all of you, blessed old bird, or if you're on Rumble Premium. If you haven't got Rumble Premium yet, by the way, my God, get Rumble Premium now. You get not only extra content from me, but from Tim Pool, from my man Crowder there with his mug club. I see he was talking to Nick Fuentes yesterday. I watched a little bit of it live. Looked tense. Looked tense. When I spoke to Nick Fuentes, nice atmosphere.
Yeah, he's a nice guy.
Right at the end, I goes, Are you a bit of an anti-Semite though, mate? I just brought it up towards the end, like Columbo. You know, like Columbo when he leaves. Oh, there's one other thing bothering me. That's what Columbo used to do. There's one thing bothering me. Hey, anti-Semite, mate. He wouldn't have said mate, not Columbo. Not Peter Falk. Not old One-Eye Forky. Right, let's have a look what's going on in Venezuela, if it's even a real country.
Over 13,000 U.S. Marines have now arrived near Venezuela, and what's happening in the Caribbean looks like the biggest military buildup since Iraq. Just off Venezuela's coast, Trinidad and Tobago has turned into a full-blown military zone. Meanwhile, the airspace above Puerto Rico has been completely shut down under national defense protocol. 2 U.S. aircraft carriers are already in position, and a third is racing in from the Caribbean. This could be one of the largest U.S. strike packages since World War II. Meanwhile, the U.S. officials are saying that there's no plan to attack Venezuela, but analysts are calling it the biggest military buildup since the Iraq War. In response, Venezuela has warned the United States that if an attack is launched, it will retaliate with its full strength. They deployed their Russian-made S-300V and BKM-2 air defense systems. Both nations are now on high alert, and tensions across the Caribbean are reaching a breaking point.
Okay, I'll level with you. I stopped concentrating. Me and Jake talked about foreskins. Jake doesn't have one. I've got one. Now, but the foreskin debate, that's coming up later. But first, we've got to work out whether there's a legitimate reason for a hot war with Venezuela, whether or not Putin and Trump behind the scenes are carving up the global resources like you can have Ukraine. Look at Zelensky. We're going to reveal now that he's a cokehead patsy. Things dropping out of his snout like a snow machine. Like, you know, in Florida, where you want to celebrate Victorian interpretations of Christmas, like snow and everything.
Yeah.
Bing Crosby, chestnuts roasted on an old oak fire and all that. Well, anyway, there's a snow machine. When I recently went to a sort of Christmas fair, snow machines, probably some sort of terrible chemical that's going to kill us. 5 years we'll learn snow machines making
I've choked on it before. On the snow machine.
It's a good job you don't have a foreskin with a larynx like that. If your esophagus can't take a little bit of a snow machine, it's a good job you best only deal with circumcised penises. So, like, I'll say that whatever that was that dropped out of Zelensky's snout hole, it don't look good. And it's also now, whenever I see him dancing around, like, you know, they show old footage of him dancing around with, like, pretend tits on or whatever. And when Gavin DeBecker, our friend who wrote that book there in the background, when he, like, about Forbidden Facts, an amazing book, by the way, like, when he said that Zelensky was in a TV show in which he played a comedian that eventually got a popular following and then led a political party, and then they did that in real life. I was like, this is a mad psyop. The whole thing's a mad psyop. And when you talk to Candace Owens, which is what I did do, you get the idea that everything's been a mad psyop for a long, long, long while. So particularly if you back it up with the Bible. Did you got that verse, Jake?
I don't know. Let's see.
Oh, you sexy son of a bitch. Pull this up. Pull that skin back. Pull it back. What? No, I'll do it. It's got a number. John, it's on the sheet. Sorry, mate. I didn't want to. I didn't want to embarrass you.
Number 8.
Check that. Thanks, Mas. We know that anyone born of God does not continue to sin. Isn't it funny? We've talked all these filthy things. We go straight to Scripture. We know that anyone born of God does not continue to sin. The one who is born of God keeps them safe, and the evil one cannot harm them. We know that we are children of God, and that the whole world is under the control of the evil one. We also know that the Son of God has come and has given us understanding so that we may know him who is true. And we are in him who is true by being in his Son, Jesus Christ. He is the true God and eternal life. Now, the bit that I want to draw attention to is that he says, the whole world is under the control of the evil one. Now, even when I was reading David Icke's recent book, which his lovely son Jamie sent me, even though it's got loads of criticisms of me directly in it, I just continue. That must mean that's one of the things I said in that video I've not sent you yet, is like, I must be getting better because I'll read a whole book and in it keeps, so David Icke's going, and that Russell Brand's a dick. And I'm just like, yeah, no problem, okay, mate. But I just keep reading it and, in fact, rather enjoying it. I used to be quite sensitive. I'm less sensitive now. I'm still sensitive. I'm less sensitive. Anyway, at the beginning of the book, he said, I've been saying for ages and ages that there's global cartels in control of everything and paedophile rings and adrenochrome and loosh and all of these terms about spiritual entities manipulating human institutions. But let's pull it up again. The whole world is under the control of the evil one. The whole world. So one thing I want to say, if you're a Christian out there, why is it that the church is not more explicitly focused on the world being under control of the evil one? I asked some of my Christian teachers it earlier today, and I want some clear answers, and I'd like what you've got to say about it as well, Jake, as a matter of fact. So let's consider you a teacher in that area. You've been Christian more than me. You're a clever person as well. Don't expect any more compliments today. That's it.
Good. That's
you for the day.
For the year, probably.
yeah, well, we've only got a few more weeks. Midway through 2026, around the time where I'm in my rape trials, I might holler a few compliments from the doc. You're a good man, Jake. Jake, remember I didn't do any of this stuff, Jake. Remember they made it out because I was being too honest in the pandemic, Jake. Not to say that how I treated women over the years was ultimately pretty disrespectful and exploitative, but that doesn't amount to non-consensual sexual activity, which you generally don't need to engage in when people are trying to fuck you everywhere you go because you're a goddamn movie star, which is the whole point of becoming one in the first place. Anyway, you can hear more about that in the upcoming trial. But before that, we've got Turning Point coming up in December as well. So one of the things so what Candace Owens is doing, it seems, is making explicit, deliberate points about how evil may or may not interface with some of these human institutions, which is what Alex Jones and David Icke and, you know, I mean, gosh, when Noam Chomsky, the leftist and now Epstein tarred with that brush intellectual that wrote The Manufacture of Consent, says that institutions have been captured, what does that mean? When Trump says drain the swamp, what does that mean? When Jeremy Corbyn, the leader of the Labour Party in the previous couple of cycles, who was much more leftist, who was out there on a lot of important subjects, was willing to get his hands dirty, says the deep state's in control, what does that mean? When former Prime Minister of the UK, Liz Truss, starts her own podcast saying, it's so lovely to watch it, man, we should watch this, Massey, it's so funny. Like Liz Truss, she was Prime Minister, there was this minute where Britain was having Prime Ministers and you're only Prime Minister for about an hour and a half and then they just kick you out and get another one. Honestly, it was like there was Boris Johnson, Rishi Sunak, Liz Truss, get another. I was too fast. When Liz Truss was one, and she does, look, she'll probably come on the show, so I'll be nice to her by God's holy grace. But when you see her doing her YouTube channel, you know, like when, what's that lady that was in Marvel movies did a YouTube channel, like the one that played
Brie Larson.
Like, so when Brie Larson done a YouTube channel, some people when they do a YouTube channel don't seem right because they're people that are happier in centralised media. And whatever you think about Candace Owens, is that phenomena would not be happening without decentralised media. That woman will be wiped out. If they kill her now, it's not going to look good. It's not going to look good. It'll make it look like she's telling the truth. So I would suggest letting her and me live, if you don't mind. So let's have a look. Do you want to see a little? Should we finish off Venezuela?
Look, a compliment came in the comments.
Oh, good. I was going to say you do comments.
Yeah, Brad Case FDE. I like Russell.
Thanks.
Says he speaks the truth that others are afraid to.
That's a good. Thank you, Brad, for that. If you haven't got Rumble Premium yet, get Rumble Premium now. What about another one? If there are any insulting ones, but not too insulting?
I'll go on.
Not, you know, Paul.
Oh, you've got what, Massey?
You got one?
Massey's got one.
Yeah. Paul, there's been a lot of chat about why you always have your shirt open, and Paul Schober said, I think it's because he's a CIA asset and he's assuring everyone he's not wearing a wire.
Yeah.
I'm not wearing a wire, man.
It's true.
I'm not wearing a wire. I'm wearing these bitches, though.
Paul Schober probably gets the best comments.
Yeah, Paul Schober, his comments are good. See if you can beat, for comment of the day, we will send you, have a look, go on Caleb, cut to it, baby. We will send you everything in that box for comment of the day. We'll announce it at the end. Will you remember?
Oh, yeah.
Will you remember, Jake?
I'll remember.
Right, but comment of the day, it's got to be funny and hopefully not too hurt. It's called the Paul Schober Award. We're presuming
he
he's
said,
win.
oh no, Venezuela's full strength. Like, that's funny. That's a funny comment.
What's funny about that?
Like, oh no.
Venezuela. All right, that's right. Not proper country. It's got a V in it and a Z. That's not a country. That's a Scrabble score. You've not got a proper country. There's too many end of the alphabet letters in your name. You cannot win a war against America. Can't be done. Can't beat America in wars. They've shown it from 1914, 1944.
Have you seen The Patriot?
Yeah, I've seen it. Cornwallis! Let the Green Dragoons loose! Don't stifle them! Let them loose! Let them burn down churches, if that's what they need to do. Let's just get this war over and done with, for heaven's sake, and then start moving on to Candace Owens.
The weight of uncertainty and the rumble of armored vehicles can be
Rumble!
Rumble of armored vehicles can be felt throughout the country. An estimate.
That's gay, isn't it? That's a gay way to start. Like, you don't practice like. Too
hoppy. Too
hoppy. Yeah. Too hoppy, guys.
Speaking of hop,
I was in
those
hop.
Bunnies.
Oh yeah, like the pink berets in hop. But that's such a niche reference, Jake. What kind of Mad Russell Brand fan would you have to be? You've watched Hop. You've memorised that the pink berets are.
I got a lot of kids.
They're good kids. They're good kids. Now let's look at Venezuela's Gay Week Army. One of my beloved teachers is a Venezuelan, but he's actually an American citizen now, and he says us, and he means American, I notice, when he says us, so I'm going to fully go for it.
An estimated 125,000 members of Venezuela's military have
Them ones that look like the swamp creature from Fraggle Rock, they're a bit more menacing. Because that's a weird look.
Yeah.
But who decided to get pink berets?
I think it was a discount.
We can get these berets in intimidating khaki green, like Rambo, the famous Green Beret. Or, like Prince, we could get a raspberry beret, like the type that you find in a second-hand store. She wore a raspberry.
Venezuela's military have mobilized. While we were there, the government was holding emergency drills and urging civilians to prepare for combat. It's all a bit of theater.
Who's these shuffling old bastards? Now the last line of defence, shuffling old bastards. That's what we had in England, like during the Second World War, where you, may I say, I've said it before and I'll say it again, you showed up too late.
Pip, Pip, you showed up, the old Yanks are here.
Nice
finally.
to show up, Yanks. Put the kettle on. Nice of you to show up. We've nearly got this war won. See you a storm on the beaches of Normandy, if you can manage it. I said it before and I said it again. I can't remember what I was talking about. Oh, yeah, we had old guys protecting us. Old guys, gays, people with flat feet, spivs. That means people that were selling stuff. I'm actually describing the sitcom Dad's Army, which you'll only know if you're British. Like, Dad's Army was a much-loved British sitcom about the Home Guard forces because all the of-age men from, like, I don't know, like 18 to 50 or whatever were fighting, and, like, who was left, they had to defend, and they didn't have no weapons, so they were, like, using literally forks and, like, batons and, like, we'll get you. But we had Churchill. We'll fight them on the beaches. We'll fight them on the landing strips. We'll pull their skin back. We'll expose the tender flesh beneath their helmet. We will, if necessary, use a scalpel and open the phalanx of the penis, exposing a butterfly-like shape like in a Rorschach test, opened out splayed like you can get a steak done sometimes. And in there will be a network of cells, and within it, like a honeycomb, like when you look inside a honeycomb, and within each cell there will be a larvae. And it will induce great feeling. My God, these speeches are inspiring. I'll kill for that guy.
Theater and a response to this. Since September, the U.S. military has blown up at least 10 vessels, killing more than 36 alleged drug smugglers, most of them off the coast of Venezuela.
Okay, so is that right? Here's Trump saying that being asked whether Hegseth should be punished if he killed Venezuelan boat survivors, because, well, the news is, of course, that a U.S. strike left survivors, and according to reporting, Pete Hegseth gave the order to kill everybody, after which a second strike was launched that killed those survivors. Now, I find it very difficult in the media environment in which we all live to conceptualize the morality of a second strike on a previously attacked Venezuelan boat smuggler, because there are so many questions to unpack. Were they drug smugglers? Well, you know, like, it's just so, at this point, so complex that who has the moral fortitude to claim that they know what's right? There is only one answer. It's God. And we're some distance from that, I would say. So here's Trump being asked about it.
Mr. President, the boat strikes, if it is found that survivors were actually killed while clinging on to that boat, should Secretary Hegseth, Admiral Bradley, or others be punished?
I think you're going to find that this is war, that these people were killing our people by the millions, actually, if you look over a few years. I think last year we lost close to 300,000 people were killed. That's not mentioning all the families. Have you seen what happens with the families of not only the people killed, the people that are trying to get their son or their daughter off of this poison that they've been fed? I think you're going to find that there's a very receptive ear to doing exactly what they're doing, taking out the...
When he cites those figures, is he saying the number of people that have died in the drug war in the last couple of years? Drug war deaths. Okay, and I would say that the reason people take drugs is because they're looking for God and they can't cope with the godlessness and lack of spirit in society. And I'd say the solution to that is to collectively to raise our principles and ethics and to try to live in accordance with truth. Now, that's going to be complicated because people can't agree on a single truth right now. But a very good way to get out of the drug war is by using legal drugs. Like these sexy little guys from Blackout Coffee. This is a handcrafted small batch of dirty little beans. They call it the caffeinated clitori. One rub and you're in trouble. You will be stimulated to another dimension with medium roast and dark roast. I go for dark roast because I like my coffee the way that I like all beverages. Dark and intense. That does feel pretty good. I'm going to take that home and I'm going to drink that. They're a family-owned coffee roasting company out of Florida. They search worldwide, they do, I'm not them, for high-quality coffee beans, working directly with farmers and local cooperatives. And precisely that model is how we should proceed. Do you not recognize now that we are beyond the time where whole populations of 300 million can en masse follow one leader? It's over. You can say that all you want, and this is for the comments, guys. Let me know what you think about this. You can say the South was wrong in the Civil War when it came to the subject of slavery, but they weren't wrong on secession. We need to break down these monoliths maximally. You should be in control of your own life, your own family, your own community through direct democracy. It's possible. It's the future. Either we have to empower people to run their own communities, or you're going to have endless conflict that are difficult to discern, understand, analyze, or diagnose, because we're in a post-truth world. We're in a post-truth world. I mean, but, you know, there is a truth when it comes to the celestial, and the absolute, but in this world, it's very difficult to determine. Let's have a look at Pete Hegseth managing this boat strike catastrophe or war escalation or necessary killing, depending on how you see reality.
Watch that first strike live. As you can imagine, at the Department of War, we got a lot of things to do. So I didn't stick around for the hour and 2 hours, whatever, where all the sensitive site exploitation digitally occurs. So I moved on to my next meeting. A couple of hours later, I learned that commander had made which he had the complete authority to do. And by the way, Admiral Bradley made the correct decision to ultimately sink the boat and eliminate the threat. He sunk the boat, and eliminated the threat. And it was the right call. We have his back, and the American people are safer because narco-terrorists know you can't bring drugs through the water and eventually on land if necessary to the American people. We will eliminate that threat, and we're proud to do it.
So you didn't see any survivors, to be clear, after that first strike?
I did not personally see survivors, but I stand, because the thing was on fire. It was exploded and fire and smoke. You can't see anything. You got digital. This is called the fog of war. This is what you in the press don't understand. You sit in your air-conditioned offices or up on Capitol Hill and you nitpick and you plant fake stories in the Washington Post about kill everybody, phrases on anonymous sources not based in anything, not based in any truth at all. And then you want to throw out really irresponsible terms about American heroes, about the judgment that they made. I wrote a whole book on this topic because of what politicians and the press does to warfighters. President Trump has empowered commanders to do what is necessary, which is dark and difficult things in the dead of night on behalf of the American people. We support them, and we will stop the poisoning of the American people.
And Mr. Secretary, on the second strike, you said it happened more than an hour after the first. Did I hear it correctly?
I couldn't tell you the exact amount of time.
Minutes, or you went off the room, is what you're saying.
I already stated my answer quickly.
The world's all different now because people will be able to say war is war and war is messy. You know, we're pretty close with our man, old Eddie Gallagher, works around here. He's like a Navy SEAL who got in a bunch of bother about exercises in Iraq and an ISIS member being killed. And man, he wasn't pardoned. He at trial was acquitted. And when he told me his story directly, you know, the headline is what got me. The headline was Navy SEAL kills ISIS member. And it's like, well, if you have nice Navy SEALs, one of the things you'd imagine they're going to do is kill ISIS. That's about the best thing they could be doing. But no, there is no consensus anymore at scale about what America should be doing internationally or domestically or nationally or culturally or what the truth is. Spend 10 seconds on X. Like, it's just, I can't believe it. Like, I don't know if it's just my feed. Maybe I'm looking at the wrong stuff, but you sort of go and it's just, I can't believe what's happening on a daily basis, the escalation of everything, the despair. I think that we need to get out of it and step right back and run our own communities where possible, fully self-sufficient and fully self-supporting. We need a new model. It's not like you want another person in charge of the same model. You need a different model, And even in the, sort of in the early Bible, when people were saying we want a king, and the Lord was saying, nah, just run little communities, man. We'll give you some judges. It'll be cool. I think we've gone in the wrong direction for quite some time. Let me know what you think in the comments and the chat. All right, let's check out this thing.
It gives me no pleasure to say what I'm about to say because I worked with Pete Hegseth for 7 or 8 years at Fox News. This is an act of a war crime, ordering survivors who the law requires be...
Look, I apologize for doing a link there that AI could have done. Let's check out this thing. That's not the type of language you deserve. You need better. This is how I could have done it. I could have gone like this. I could have gone, right-wing media company Newsmax's legal analyst says that everyone involved in the boat strike should be prosecuted for a war crime. But then you'd be in some very complex ideological territory when it comes to the nature of death and killing. Isn't power these days ultimately about who has the right to decide who can be killed and who can't be killed? I don't want any authority over that, no central authority, other than holy authority. Let me know what you think, though, in the comments and chat. I'm pretty keen to get into the Candace stuff, really, guys. I mean, but are we doing some Rumble Premium today as well?
I think so.
Yeah, we'll do some Rumble Premium. I mean, let me just show you a little bit of when we arrived. I've not seen this yet, but Massey assured us in a vague compliment that it was good. So we're actually increasing the number of wise men that are visiting the house of Candace Owen. We've got 4, count them, 1, 2, 3, 4 bearded magi to visit beloved Candace Owen. We're like the wise men, huh? Going to visit her. Is she sort of alleging that people in Turning Point are participants in his murder?
Yeah.
I mean, that's like so hard to reconcile. I was thinking, funnily enough, about, see with rape allegations, that once a documentary is made alleging that I'm a rapist, people that I've slept with 25 years ago watch the documentary in which none of the women complained to the police or complained to anyone. Someone that had an encounter with me, say 25 years ago, like in a hotel or a bathroom or whatever, looks back at that event and goes,
Who did that was?
I don't know about that guy anymore. But even though in the interceding, so I wonder with like something like this, right? All of this stuff starts happening, and then like we don't know who the source is at Turning Point that's calling her and saying, look, or what she's personally seen, and then. But I also do know that in general, I think that, just even biblically, when it says that the institutions of the world are captured by evil, well, what would that be? It would mean that somewhere in the judiciary, somewhere in the police force, somewhere in the government, who is it that's saying that stuff? Like, is it just some kid or is it just... No! Turning Point. Oh, no! I've got to memorize these buttons, man.
Watch that first strike live.
Oh, why am I guessing?
Get out those boats.
Why am I guessing? Why would I keep guessing? I was so sure it was 8. 9. That reminds me. Markets. Now, over on old Polymarkets, which they're supporters of our show, Polymarkets, I'll tell you what they'll help you to do, and that is gamble your way through life. Now, who do you think, hold on, let me see how to pose this. When will the US invade Venezuela? You can even bet on that. You could bet on who will be the next person assassinated by various international deep state forces. Can you bet on that at Polymarket?
I'm sure you can.
I bet you can. You can bet on the outcome of my criminal trial in June 2016. You can bet on it. You can bet on anything. Have a gamble. Although, actually, if you're an addict like me, do not gamble. I don't really agree with games of chance, but Polymarket is a sponsor of the show, and there you go. You could gamble on this if that's your thing. If that's your thing.
You just see how it's swinging. Which way is it going?
Maduro. Oh, that's the chart that tells you. What's that based on? It's just, what it is AI aggregating all of the reporting and all of the evidence and all of the information.
Putting it all in one place.
Putting it all in one place for a little old gamble.
What's amazing is that Turning Point asset is 1. So that would have been an easy one to...
Right, 1. That's what I like to do. Turning Point, December the 18th. Ben Shapiro's there. Tucker Carlson's there. I'm there. Now, of course, Candace is gonna... Let's go push forward to the bit where it's actually when we've arrived at Candace's house. Is there much of that, Massey? Is there much aeroplane and stuff like that?
Yeah, it's a lot of airplane, then it's Candace's house at the end, and then on the next one, it's in the kitchen afterwards, and the stuff that you guys were talking. So that's definitely all.
Oh, just kitchen. But what about pre-roll of like arrival foyer at her house? Is there much of that?
That's later in that video. If you want to skip ahead,
can I? Can I a little bit?
I think those guys might be able to in the studio.
Yeah, can you? If I play this, what asset was that? 20. If I play that,
some kid, or is it like, you know, who is it that's the source? Is it someone that's just caught up in the swirl of excitement, or is it someone that's like, oh my god, I've seen, or a news bit shaman? No one knows what people are.
I know what all the stuff is. Methylene Blue.
You know all of them.
Go back to
I'm pretty crunchy.
Can I have that as my feed?
Methylene Blue. Yeah, I know
that one. That one. This is
cool.
I mean, that's ultimately we're stealing that from a cow's boob. That's almost. Did you say it's like the CPS trying to take your children? We're doing that. I mean, maybe that's what it is. Maybe there are some demonic forces that are stealing our energy and locating it elsewhere. So that's it. That's the whole thing. We're leaving you this as a gift. Would you like the jacket?
Wait, you should leave in this promo. That's funny.
Don't take this. I've only just got it. Although I think. Yeah. Hold on. 2 arrived. 2 did arrive. But if I take this off, I mean, like, you know, I'm interviewing your wife, George. How confident are you in this marriage? Like, if you want me shirtless in there, I'm
basically
I did give him that jacket in the end because, frankly, my wife had ordered 2.
It's a good jacket.
It's a good jacket. Stop trying to get the jacket.
I think you're wearing it, huh?
In there, I'm
basically were.
I'm pretty jacked now.
This is
that confident in the marriage. It's really stuck.
CPS has already been at the house this year, so
there you go.
They have, because I said no to vaccines at the hospital, so CPS actually came.
Hey,
it was amazing. I was like, just so you know, we record everything. So like Savannah had like a camera in his face at CPS, and he's like asking questions. He's like, why didn't you get the Hep B vaccine?
Me, look at what I'm thinking about there. I'm thinking about. No, we're not you. Like I'm in the edit, but then when it actually comes to the edit, I don't go.
Yeah, what were you?
I edit in my mind. I'm like, no, not this. No, right, no, in a minute. Don't talk if you're not meant to be on camera. Shut up. Like that's what I'm. Like, if you watch my face, you can see all that happening.
Get the Hep B vaccine. I'm like, I mean, because we were at a hospital and if our kid got a second.
People don't realise, I think, like when you sort of shoot stuff like this, people don't realise that, well, I don't know, maybe I'll be the one that changes, but I'm sort of working. If a camera's on, I'm like, right, I'm doing that thing that I've been doing for years and years. So like, but other people just think, just be yourself. It's not just be yourself. I'm actually working very, very hard. Even when things seem shambolic and chaotic, I'm like trying to think, can that be useful? Is that good? Is this a good colour? You know? In the end, you get to a point where you're sort of pulling these things apart to do. I mean, this is actually extremely meta, what you're watching right now.
We were at a hospital, and if our kid got a sexually transmitted disease, and we were probably in the wrong hospital, like, and he's like, oh no, okay, I get it. Why did you think the baby?
These shots, like where it travelled around the back of that person's body and then landed on Candace, that's the sort of thing that I think would look really mad in a trailer, like, you know, because it's like, whoa, what's going on? Like, you know, to see the camera sort of come round that and land on her. Those are good things. But I'm glad that Isaac cut that trailer. He done a good job for us there.
Did you think the baby was yours right when it came out? And it's like, I answered the question like a true Candace Owens jackass. Like I was just like, well, we had this idea that the baby might have been ours. Like, you know, it was in there for 10 months and we got this idea that it might have been mine. So we took the baby and we left. He literally asked the question, why did you leave the hospital early? Because, you know, insurance wants you to stay until, because that's how they get paid. It's 48 hours. Yep. And I was like, because we don't live there, so we just went home. And he was like, okay, yeah.
I love it. That's amazing.
Yeah, they're all crazy. Everyone's.
Who's Freemasons now?
Yeah, Candace and Russell Brand together, Freemason.
Who says that?
This guy, D. Williams, 312.
D. Williams, you're not going to win. Let's have a look at it, Caleb. You're not going to win the merch with that. That is not funny, and it's not kind. And actually, what's wrong with the Freemasons? I don't know that they're doing anything that bad. I'd be more concerned about sort of deep state interests. Let's come back to me now. Deep state interests that are capable of executing people. The Freemasons, whenever I went once to a dinner and dance, I think, and they seemed pretty innocuous to me. Remember, comment of the day, you can win all of that glorious stuff if you make it. Let's carry on with let's watch this Candice thing to the end. What are you saying, Messi? I saw that hand gesture. I thought
I've got two comments. I've got 2 comments here. Opposite ends of the spectrum. Number 1, Rogue Way says, all of nature, the entire universe is decentralized, and so should our politics be, which I thought was pretty deep.
That's great. I love that. That's what I agree with.
And then on the other end of the spectrum, we've got Biff Littleton says, smegma is just the penis's survival food. So it depends on how deep you want to go, really.
Smegma is the penis's survival food?
Yeah. So there's
Hold on. Do you mean that there's some kind of ectoplasm that the penis is surviving on? Now, I think I would say the first one is a contender to win the Reborn merch. The smegma is the penis's survival food. Whilst it's an interesting area for study, it's not been proven yet that smegma even exists.
Amazing. Yeah, they're all crazy. Everyone's crazy, you know? Should we go down?
Yeah.
Come on. Through the gym, over the kids' toys.
Same place as last time.
Yes. Like, that is just incredible that somebody just painted that. Like, and she was doing it on Instagram, and I reached out, and I was like, this is incredible. Like, I mean...
I thought it was Morrissey for about 10 seconds. For about 10 seconds.
Let's get him on the show.
Oh, I'd love it.
I mean, fans are just so talented. I always think people that do art are just incredible because I was so terrible at it when I was in school.
I feel like really amazed and honoured to be talking to you right now.
Thank you.
When I first met you, obviously you remember because we've discussed it before, in my podcast studio, such as it was, in the garden. This is what I remember thinking. There was a lovely moment where you had argued very sort of Republican, conservative positions, and I guess what I'd said had been extraordinarily socialist, because certainly that's how you judged me. But I felt like I was trying to speak about spirituality, but from a somewhat new age perspective. But then there's this really beautiful moment where you went, and what do you think about migration, Russell? Oh, we should just let everybody in. And you skipped around the room. You sort of like did this bit. You did a sort of a prance. And my thought is, felt, is like, she's so beautiful.
Aww.
But I don't actually, it made me feel that everything that gets discussed on a political level is superficial and empty, because it's spirit that actually matters. You can watch that interview in full. We'll be showing some more stuff coming up over the next few minutes. And the interview in its entirety will be shown on Monday. I think we've done all of our commercial commitments, haven't we? So we can move on, I think, until we get to Rumble Premium. If you haven't got Rumble Premium yet, get Rumble Premium now. And remember, the winning comment today gets a whole bunch of this Reborn stuff. Remember, like, subscribe, get Rumble Premium, and the winning comment will win a full, beautiful, delicious, gorgeous box of all that stuff. All right. So next up, will circumcision end in America? Let's talk about that. And then we're going to be talking because, here's my central point about Candace Owens. I mean, I guess we'll have to do an intro for this. My central point about Candace Owens is this, and I think I say in the interview, because media has so radically altered as a result of the technology, which is, of course, a decentralizing technology. I know there are centralized components, like the manufacture of the phone and the hosting of the clouds, but nevertheless, we can all mass communicate in real time, and that's changing politics faster than politics can contend with. And someone like Candace Owens, 10, 20 years ago, would have been brokered out of business. The centralized organizations around print media, radio, TV, music, whatever, would have just said, God, this person's a pain in the ass, shut them down, don't give them a contract anymore, they're out. They can't do that anymore. And now they've got to contend with that, the phenomena of voices like Candace Owens or Alex Jones or Charlie Kirk or whoever. And if those voices happen not to align with the interests of the powerful, they either have to smear, undermine, destroy, or I think in extreme cases, assassinate those individuals. I wonder, though, how this will happen, because this is what I've worked out. There was always this brilliant sort of philosophical maxim that if you had 1 million monkeys and 1 million keyboards, typing, they would eventually, one of them would recreate the entire works of Shakespeare. Well, now you do have a million monkeys typing on a million keyboards at all times. And every so often, even though there is a lot of nonsense and a lot of balderdash and a lot of bullshit, a lot of truth is coming out. And then the truth aggregates. People recognize it. So Alex Jones one day says Sandy Hook was fit up, and people are like, what? No, hold on, that's crazy. But another day he's saying frogs are gay, and then people do research. Oh, and that's what's happening, is that's impacting them. And or ahead of 9/11, the 9/11 stuff. Or Candace Owens says, you know, it just doesn't seem likely that that one trans kid was able to pull off this shot and pull off this deal. And a lot of us, this is a position I've been in myself. When you temporarily happen to be the conduit or vessel for a popularly held opinion or truth, it's very easy to start equating yourself with that truth. The most I ever noticed it was when I, in about 2015, in my country, the UK, said there's no point voting. Whichever party you vote for, you'll end up getting the government. Everyone I grew up with knows this. That's why we never vote, and you shouldn't vote either. It created apoplexy of condemnation, and I felt like, wow, this, and loads of voices came out. He's right. Whether you vote for Labour or whether you vote for the Conservatives, they're still going to facilitate corporations, big business. You're still going to get war. You're still going to get, and down the line, we now know, you're still going to get the pandemic. You're still going to get governments that hide and obfuscate the real truths, imperialism. Now, how deep that goes, we are beginning to discover now because of the million monkeys principle. People are saying, well, the French Foreign Legion could be involved in assassinations, or people are saying that perhaps everything that's in our food is making us docile, or that our screens are slowly indoctrinating us. All of this information is available now. You can't contain it. In the end, you're either going to have to say, give people more direct access to power, let them run their own communities and their own lives because the game is up, or you're going to have to legitimize mass centralized authoritarianism. Now, the mistake I made on the few occasions where I've been in alignment with the message is I think that it's about me and that I'm important. That's the mistake I make. Who knows whether it's psychological or spiritual reasons? Who knows what the reasons are? But I'm not going to do it again. I won't do it again. So I've had it kicked out of my system, thankfully, by the rape allegations, charges, in fact, and forthcoming trials. It's been beaten out of me. So with Candace Owens, one of the things I said to her is, you're obviously saying things that resonate. The challenge is not to make it about yourself. And that is another reason that surrendering to Christ is so powerful, because even the aspect of Christ that's entirely human being, for me, means I surrender and bow down before a man. He is my king. He is my leader. That's before I get into, and that man was the embodiment of God. And what that means is that I'm no longer responsible for my own methodology or my own ideology or my own theology. I go and look in here and see, does it say anything about the world being controlled by evil? Yep, it does say that. It says that the world is controlled by evil. Oh, okay, so all that stuff I felt when I was a kid and growing up, that was true. Yeah, that was all correct. So the part where we unplug from the system and all its corruption and lies, that's necessary, but it's what you plug into after that that's important. Loads of us plug into drugs or sex or porn or consumerism or fame, usually through self. Indeed, that scripture, I'm going to press 5 or am I going to press 8? That scripture, right, look what it says here. Oh, it goes it's a bit later into the thing. We know also that the Son of God has come and has given us understanding that we may know him who is true, and we are in him as true by being in his Son, Jesus Christ. Now, look, what I would say is when God is talking, obviously we're only going to receive it on the level of metaphor. We're not going to be able to, we do not have the wisdom base to receive divine truth. We can only receive what we're capable of receiving. Words and language are systems of meaning. Not meaning itself. So you can allude to, sketch out, foreshadow, and maybe even create this geometric shape of meaning and truth, but you can't get meaning itself. Now, 15:5:19, wasn't it? Check it out. Whoever comes to the world believes that he's the Son of God. Where does it say?